All right, it says we're live. This is one of my buddies, Jonathan Hawes. He's a local guy here. I'll apologize that I should have gotten him a pillow or something.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't.
We are live.
Yeah, I think we're live.
Rise and grind for one more time, right?
Yeah, except it's 4:30.
Rising to this.
Yeah, 4:30. It's still morning in Hawaii. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Breakdown Pair. We'll wait for the YouTubes to send out the notifications and get everything going here, but this is a new official show where we'll actually have some kind of structure and that kind of nonsense.
It'll make a tango. Oh, yeah. But it doesn't last that long.
Woo! You have a hat for this.
Yup. Too sexy. You look miserable.
Yeah.
I will say that hat is very hot.
It is a little warm. It is a little warm.
It's a little toasty. Yep, early start since we have a shorter show tonight. So. Some asshole wants to go watch football.
Yeah, especially a Broncos game.
Yeah, why would I want to do that?
Of all things. Let's party. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Yo.
All right, sweet. The technology works, so that's step one.
What's up with the sound? Sounds good here. You guys.
Yep, sounds all good as far as I can tell.
Is it my end? Is it?
No, you sound great, and
oh,
I'm assuming I sound great. But
there's two people now saying what's up with the sound.
Oh, do we need to up the sound, perhaps?
Yeah! Give him 100! Oh, glory! Get it and live it up, son! All right. Hey, we got some.
That was pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Right, yeah. So, welcome to episode number 100. We'll have to, when Anthony can be here with us in person, I'll have to go back and source some of the old beer frame stuff.
Woo!
Pull up some of those with that. I mean, the quality was bad enough on some of those earlier ones from us, but up in that dark little room up in the office. And so anyway, welcome everybody to episode number 100. We do have a special guest to help us start the show. Wilkins will be in with us later, but this is Anthony Lockwood. This is my old beer frame co-host from way back in the day. And I need to pull up and see exactly how long ago that was, because we started doing the Rise and Grinds at the end of 2020. So we've already been doing this for 4 years, and we do the breakdown pair for three and a half.
It's crazy. It's been that long already.
I mean, beer frame was pre-COVID, so which is 5 years ago now, by the way. But so yeah.
Norseman had just opened.
Yeah.
And now they have just closed.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah. Within the last couple of weeks, right, Luke?
What's that?
I said Norseman just closed within the last couple of weeks too, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
Yep. My broski is free. He's on to bigger and better things. So.
Okay.
Wilkins says he was having issues joining, but I think he figured it out. I don't know if he's with
he just popped in, so I'll pull. So Anthony, I'll pull Zack in and see what's up. But start with Anthony here. What's been going on, man? Get the Zach Wilkins test here.
Oh man, a little bit of everything. Lots of work. Lots of bowling lately. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. No drinking. Almost no drinking.
Almost. That's good.
Yeah, almost no drinking.
I am significantly cutting back, but I'm still drinking on the shows.
I was about to say, me too, as I'm sitting here.
Yeah, we're really cutting back as I open my Candy Cane Imperial Peppermint Milk Stout.
Ooh, I can't do those stouts, man. Those are all you, bro.
It's pretty cold down here, so I'm trying to warm back up. But
It's cold down here too. I'd never have a hoodie on in the show unless I'm over there. So
So you've gotten yourself in pretty good shape now, and for all the people that have been seeing like Verity and some of the other pros getting into Amplify is in Wichita, and so you got on with them a couple years ago now.
Actually, I've been an athlete for them for just over a year. Andy, the owner, is a good friend of mine. We bowled a league together years ago, and he just basically, once upon a time, just said a few magic sentences, and I just realized it was time to make a change. So when we pull up those old beer frame episodes, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. That was pretty close to about as heavy as I got. But Andy has certainly been quite the partner, quite the trainer, quite the friend, quite the influencer, inspiring nonetheless. And he's taken my life to a whole nother level.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I hope you guys get a chance to meet him. I hope anybody who's watching today, if you're considering a change in lifestyle, he can help. I mean, he's helping people all over the world. He's got flags up in his gym from countries all over the place where athletes, Dasha, he's got a Russian flag. He's Verity, Daria. He's helping people all over the world.
Yeah, he was actually in our. He went to Tulsa with us with our group. And speaking of people that went to Tulsa with us, I'm going to go ahead and pull Zach in and make sure that his stuff is working here.
Guys, it's been a nightmare trying to get on. I think it's probably all the Dayquil that I've been drinking just to get better.
If it makes you feel good, or I'm getting emergency alerts here telling us to stop driving in Kansas because it's awful.
Yeah.
Dude,
you still look really good, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. You guys are just dealing with a typical Tuesday in Canada.
yeah. A foot of snow. Now, a foot of snow's a lot for us, but I mean, my daughter lives in Williamsport in Pennsylvania, and so she's north enough to where she's like, a foot of snow, whatever.
Yeah.
We ended up with 14 inches, I think, is what we ended up getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a decent amount. I think the ice is what does like the big factor. Like I know Kansas City had like half an inch of ice underneath, which is just, I mean, that'll wreak havoc. But the snow, just snow.
Yeah, just snow. That ice is awful.
Yeah, we got the ice first, and then we've got, and the snow's not bad. It's that really light, fluffy, powdery stuff, at least up here. How bad is it in Wichita, Anthony?
Well, I don't think it's fair to use the word bad in comparison to Topeka or Canada. I think we got a solid 3 inches. I tried to measure, but I was a little short.
I could say a lot of jokes on that, but I'm gonna let that be here.
I hit the ice at the bottom.
We got to stop because that could keep going. Once again, Zach, thanks also for joining us. I know you're a little under the weather, buddy, so we won't take up all your time. So,
yeah, I just got, I don't know what it is. Man cold probably is what everyone calls it. But I mean, I've been sucking on these for the last day, and then I got some Dayquil and NyQuil, and I mean, it's not going to be the last time I get sick. So,
well, and you got team trials just starting here too. You had the practice session today, right?
Yeah, I did not practice for very long. I mean, I was preparing for a while for team trials. Like the last week or so, I've been in Kingston at my buddy's place, and live streaming my practices. And then, come this Friday, I was like, man, there's a tickle in my throat. I really hope I'm not getting sick. And sure as shit, here we are, sick. But yeah. Yeah, we're just trying not to exert too much energy in practice sessions, and we got 3 days of bowling, so I'm going to use every ounce of energy I have for the next 3 days and then call it a team trials.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to ask you, what's the format for it? Is it just 3 days?
Yeah, so the first day we'll bowl 12. So we'll have our first shift starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and then we'll bowl another shift at 1 on a different pattern.
Okay.
Then we'll come back for the second day, bowl another 6 games on a different pattern, and then we'll cut to the top half of the field. And then pattern 4 we'll bowl on that afternoon. And then after the 18 games, we'll cut to the top 12. and then day 5 you'll come back, and then after 6 games they cut to the top 6, and that's who makes the team.
So did they do something similar like the U.S. Amateur / Team USA trials, where a certain amount of people are already on the team, and then a chunk of people that make it through the field actually qualify for the team?
No,
How does that
no,
work?
it's just all score relative. So whoever's bowling, if you're in the top 6, you make the team. Then, I mean, it's been a while since I've bowled it, but I know you can put in your application to be selected. So after 6 make it through tour trials, then I think they pick upwards to 4 people as well. So
Yeah. I don't think you'd have the credentials to make it automatically.
well, that's kind of like the whole reason why I'm bowling trials is,
Yeah.
with the visa that I end up wanting to get, which is the extraordinary ability visa. My lawyer said, yeah, you need more accolades and more articles and stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to go bowl some Team Canada. So I guess I should find my way back on Team Canada and, kind of travel the world again and hopefully get some more international wins, and hopefully that'll be good enough. But
Yeah.
it's tough with the extraordinary
Absolutely.
ability visa because you have to prove like why you're the top 1% in your field, and bowling already gets a lot of negativity. Where other professional sports, I mean, everyone just knows them.
Yeah.
Right. Did you have? I've got, like I said, I wrote down a bunch of list of questions for him to keep him entertained. So you might piggyback off of some of mine.
No,
so
I think we're just going to kind of circle around here.
Hey, hold on, but first, how about them Bucks, baby?
Yeah.
I've actually got that on the list of
go.
questions. I was going to
Let's
say,
go.
how jacked
Yeah,
are
we-
you
we-
right now? I mean,
We definitely got to talk some football too. Anthony, I can't remember who your team is.
I can't either.
Okay.
We're in the playoffs though, so I guess it's not so bad.
It's one of those rather.
I thought he was going to be, say, like a Browns fan, where like they're already
Woo.
firing everyone.
Oh no.
or a
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers
I'm a Packers fan.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
you're
right, yeah.
you're a
Yeah, that's what I
cheese
remember.
head.
I'm
Yeah,
a
Bruce.
Chiefs fan.
Bruce is a Vikings fan, so I can remember that. I can remember that going back and forth now. So
He's a Vikings fan and married now, so it's pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah.
a lose-lose.
Yeah, we're all a fan of playoff teams. So that's
That's
pretty
good.
badass.
That's
right?
good, man.
Maybe we should do this in a couple of weeks and see who's still happy.
yeah, right.
We won't. I won't be. I'll
Hey.
tell you that.
Nick's is looking pretty fun.
I'm just happy to break the streak. To be honest with you, that's all I care about. We can go get our ass kicked next week. I just
Denver's
want to
got a
break that
good
streak.
defense. They're sneaky, man.
61 sacks.
We can create a little bit of a matchup for them.
Yeah, I mean the Bills' defense is not great, and the Broncos are going to keep Allen in the pocket, and so it could. I think it's going to be a whole lot more interesting than people think it's going to be. I know it's in Buffalo, but
Yeah,
All that means is it's cold. Well, it's also cold up there. So
correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's Green Bay
Dude,
playing?
Baker Mayfield.
No, I was just
Go
going to say
ahead.
who's
Go ahead,
Green
sorry.
Bay playing. I haven't looked at the. I mean, my team doesn't play for a couple weeks, so
They didn't play. They didn't play yesterday. either.
yeah, that's
I haven't
awesome.
played. Yeah, it's going to be a while.
You got to call me a fake fan because honestly, with work, I haven't paid any attention to football other than the last couple of minutes of each game. It seems like.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. I haven't. This is the first year I've been able to get back into playing like fantasy football and actually watching. Like I was so busy for the last several years that Hulu just forgot that I watched sports because I got on there trying to look for sports and it's like nothing's coming. I was like, I know that there's there's opening weekend. I'm like, I know that there's noon on opening weekend. I know that there's an NFL game on right now, and it just didn't really have anything in the recents. I actually had to go into the channels and find something.
Did Hulu remove your man card too?
That's hanging out in Angel's purse.
that's
for sure.
The Eagles. Yes. Thanks, Rocky. It's
Sorry,
the
I
Eagles.
had to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sitting here trying to look up. So yes, thank you. By the way, Baker yesterday, a couple of throws. My God.
So I was bowling a small tournament yesterday in Malone, New York, and we just finished qualifying. And thank God they had the football game on. So I guess it was early in the game, and I look over and we're losing, and I'm like, I got all my I got the shirt on, I got my sweater on, I got my hat on, and like everyone's looking at me like they're gonna lose They're going to lose it. I was looking at them like, no, we got this. We got this. Plus, if Atlanta loses, we're okay. But at the start, I was like, man, are we really going to lose to this team right now?
I was a little worried for you. I mean, they just looked like lackadaisical. They didn't do
just
anything.
kept trying to run the ball, and it just wasn't working. And then, then they would create some pressure, and then Baker would throw some bad ones, and I was like, oh man. But they ended up pulling it off, and then Evans got all the way to 1,000 yards again, so that was pretty sick.
It was bonus Sunday yesterday.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Man.
Yeah.
Apparently, my voice is delayed a little bit with my mouth, so I'm going to try and plug into my microphone.
I guess I probably ought to open the chat up.
Give me just a second.
Yeah, the chat's going crazy.
Yeah. But yeah. All right. Yeah, Packers play the Eagles. Packers are losing to the Eagles. I'm not sure about that. The Eagles will look kind of course, I don't know. The Packers look kind of iffy this last time. All I know is I had Mike Evans on my fantasy team, and then I picked up Bucky Irving early in the season. So my season went well there.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yep.
Still?
Damn, you sound like you're in HD now.
Yeah.
Does it actually sound different?
You sound like an adult.
Yeah.
Get right up on it.
Wow. I like it.
So I guess we can talk some bowling for a minute here so that the natives don't get restless. But
yeah.
So Anthony, I know that you're on with Deviate, or I know that you've been busy. How much have you? Is it just mostly league stuff? What kind of tournaments have you gotten out to? Are you going to try to hit some stuff this year? What's kind of your situation right now?
Well, I tore my right pectoral tendon in April.
Mm-hmm.
So
ouch.
I didn't bowl a lot up until September, even really kind of October. I kind of jumped in a little too quick. Didn't really give myself enough time to heal. Started to bowl Thanksgiving, really kind of turned around. I bowled a Thanksgiving sweeper, got the win. Actually, maybe one of the best performances I've had in a long time. Of course, it's tournament season now, so lots of stuff coming up. Southwest and Wichita is coming. Springfield's coming. Nationals in March. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of league stuff. My buddy Brent Bowers owns a bowling center or two now, so maybe a little bit more practice. As much practice now probably as when I was in the pro shop. In the top city.
Shout out to Brent Bowers for winning the snowman doubles, though.
Yeah, they looked fun.
Yeah, they look gross.
Oh yeah, that's right. He won snowman.
I saw a couple of videos, and then Mitch was saying they were just basically throwing backup balls to the head pin.
Crumley could throw the ball really hard, and he's really good when they're hard, and he gets to throw it really hard.
Nice.
And then Brent he spent his whole life dragging towels down the track and bowling on stuff that's impossible to strike on. Yeah. So when they get impossible like that, I would put money on Brent Bowers almost 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what the score was, but yeah, they beat a pretty good team too of Maldonado and Dino.
Yep, and they took them to 3. That was the first team that took them to 3 games.
Oh wow!
So nice. They won every game up to that point.
Sick.
And they gave him an L.
Yeah.
So
yes, they did.
That's good. That'd be a good tournament to win. That's for sure because they're so hard.
I've been fortunate enough to win it once. It's tough. Did
it pay well?
It did. It did pay very well. It's just a long, especially if you get sent to the losers bracket early. It's literally the longest road, especially when if they sell out too. Like you have 64 teams and it's double elimination, and it's just it is a long road.
It's a lot of bowling too, and it's just a giant middle grind.
Make your spares.
The whole thing is a grind. The whole thing is a grind.
Make your spares. That sounds like an attack.
Yeah, don't catch us at Swiss Trios with that nonsense.
Nope. We'll put on a clinic and show you how not to do it.
Yeah. So I've got what do we think about the PBA League this year? It's not going to be in Bayside, which I haven't been to Bayside, but I can see it from the TV. And it's got to be 10 times crazier than that. It's already awesome on TV. So
you can feel it from the TV.
This year, instead of teams, it is whatever brand you are on with. And Brunswick didn't register 3 of their brands. I don't think. Is that just for the regular tour season?
I can elaborate on that if you want.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you're allowed to throw all 7 brands during the season. Once your team goes to the finals, or after it's all said and done and seeding wise, you're only allowed to throw what brand you're on. And no urethane is allowed because not all of the brands have urethane.
Even some of the brands that have urethane don't have urethane.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that is structured. Now, am I a little salty that the PBA League is no longer a thing? A little bit, because I finally got on a team and I was like, man, I'm ready for Bayside. I want to experience it.
Yeah.
And then it goes away, and I'm like, man, that sucked, because I loved bowling for the Waco Wonders when they picked me up, and bowling on a team atmosphere again and getting, the crowd going and it's just, I thrive in that environment. So I was a little upset when they went to the Battle of the Brands, but who's to say it's not going to be something similar, because, when change happens, everyone freaks out. So, well, we'll see how it goes this season.
Yeah, Anthony did mention something to me about that before we got on the show. He heard some kind of something about once you got on there, it's like you can only use your brand. It's like you can't use the umbrella. It's just that specific brand, which could be a little interesting depending on the stuff. But
correct. Yeah, I could see a lot of people once they get to that, the seeding round for the TV shows in the Baker, that you're probably going to see some more tricked out layouts with these bowling balls, because, depending on the pattern they put out, like where you need urethane, you're going to have to trick out a reactive ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw something the other day too, where somebody put out it's like, okay, well, a lot of the newer patterns that people are coming out with have like kind of the speed bumps and the different 2-2s or whatever else, so that they can kind of get rid of urethane, which is really funny because urethane was outdated technology like 10 or 20 years ago, and it's like, okay, we have reactive balls now, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to get rid of these cheating urethane balls and make people throw the reactive balls to really keep them honest here. So that's kind of funny, but
yeah, I mean, they can do whatever they want to an oil pattern, and if you don't ever take away urethane, you're going to get guys that throw it no matter what. It's just inevitable. And the harder you make the pattern, the more you're going to want to throw it, because it controls down lane the best.
Yeah.
So, like, whether you use, like, if you these people that want to use higher volumes, it's just going to make you want to throw more urethane because they read so early, which will control down lane. And then even if it's a lower volume, you can shape urethane because it still reads and then controls down lane. So I've always said, if you want to eliminate something, just get rid of Abralon pads. Just don't use surface. Plain and simple. Then figure it out. Then you don't really beat the lane up as bad. You just get whatever ball comes out of the box. So
I've never thought of it that way. That's actually a really good idea.
I'm into a real super boomer where I think that we ought to just go back to harder urethane balls that don't have surface on them and like 15 mil patterns or whatever, because the balls aren't going to flare. They're not going to pick oil up off the lane. You're not going to deal with all this transition. So then you don't have the different left to right shit where the right side burns up in a heartbeat and then the left side never changes. And so if the lefties have it, they're going to destroy the field while the right side changes. It's like, okay, well, there's still more traffic on the right, but nothing's flaring. You're not picking oil up off the lane. But that's
it's a fine line of, like, everyone wanting this, wanting that. And it's just like, My mindset is just go out and bowl. Just try to be the best you can be because everyone else is good. Like some people just really don't care. They're just trying to get better to beat you as well. So if you keep complaining, you're just going to keep falling lower and lower and lower and
Yeah.
lower, where these guys are just going to keep getting better and better and better. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah. I mean, whatever's out there, y'all got to compete on the same thing. And sometimes
Exactly.
sometimes it's going to be your week and sometimes it's not. And that's why you keep showing up.
Correct.
Exactly.
So there are a couple of not urethane, kind of urethane acting balls. Now Motiv's got their microcell stuff. You got the new blue, and then Storm's got that level now. But the new blue is pretty okay with surface on it, but it kind of shines up and it gets really clean and quick when it does shine up. Is that like ever in play at all, or is that one of those I can use it for 2 games and then I'm out of it? So what's the point?
I used it for 1 game all of tour last year, and it was like the last resort. And it's a ball that, yeah, like you said, it gets shiny, and then it'll either do one of 2 things: it'll completely miss it, or it might respond too much, and then you're like, "What the heck just happened?" So when you have both misses like that, it's just not good. I don't think those microcells or whatever, I don't think they're designed for tour because the oils are so different and what we do to a lane are so different than just your regular amateur tournament. I have no idea what this level is going to be like, but all I know is that if they keep trying to recreate this purple hammer and no one can get it right, so just stop. Like just stop. Like
Yeah,
just like I hated it when I was with Motiv. Like they just kept creating these bowling balls, and the other companies kept creating bowling balls to replicate this ball to try to make it do this, and it's like no one can recreate it. So can we just all as a whole accept that this ball is the greatest ball ever made and just put it to
Yeah.
we're just all beating a dead horse at this point.
Just accept defeat. Is that what you're saying?
We understand it's the best ball ever made. It does everything you could ever want it to do. So why keep trying to recreate it? Like, just accept it.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
There's been a couple variations of it now, and it just keeps doing its thing. It's been poured to different states. It's been all over the place. Different color pins. Different. I mean, they are different. Green pin, pink pin.
Yeah,
they're different, but they're still that ball. It's still him. So
yeah, whoever the chemist behind it is, man, great job. You aced it.
And it's been poured in another country too, by the way.
Yeah, it just smells different, but it's the same.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get through these. We'll talk some about these teams. I don't want to bog this down and slow this down a bunch, but it seems like there's a lot of extra players on these teams too. Like some of these teams even have like 7-8 people on them. So, but let's just go on ahead and get through it here. Team Deviates, Ogle, Kevin Williams, Dio, Hayden Stipich. I think him and I don't know him so much as Purchase and Cam Crow, Bailey Maverick, and Ryan Simonelli. I know those guys, but
yeah, Hayden, I think won tour trials.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Two-hander, right? Yeah.
So most of these guys are younger outside of Simonelli. Definitely a youth movement here. And as far as like the Deviate stuff, Anthony, what's been since you're on with them and you get the stuff? What's some of your favorite stuff for them right now?
To start, I'm really excited about the new Troublemaker. That cover looks like it's going to be pretty special. I've had some success with the Hellcat. Really, I haven't thrown a lot of the Deviate stuff because the spots I needed to fill were typically not that benchmark shape. And they're really good at that. But those collision balls are special. I've thrown a lot of strikes with each one of those. The solid, the hybrid, the wicked right now is probably one of my favorite house pattern balls. When they start to see over under, even though it's kind of a shinier cover, I don't tend to see the same problems. And Luke, you know this. I've been a symmetrical ball guy for a long time.
Yeah.
Asymmetric balls and I just did not match up very well. And honestly, ever really since Brunswick and those teams started, I think the Evo Pearl, the Quantum Evo Pearl and Solid, I drilled those. Those were the first Brunswick balls when I came back to the team that I put holes in. Ever since that transition for me, I throw asymmetrical balls way more often than I ever have. So those collision balls are probably, as far as deviate's concerned, as good as bowling balls get. But I'm really excited about this new troublemaker.
It's looked good. Like this year, there's too much stuff coming out, and I know that a lot of I think even Zach, it's hard to keep up with 7 brands.
It's impossible.
Right.
Literally impossible. And
year,
half the time they overlap each other, in my opinion.
Well, and see that's one of the things is that I've thrown. Well, I actually had my wife helped out and whatever else. I was drilling all of them to begin with, start off the year, and I'm like, I can't do this. So, but the problem is that you do have your Hammer fans and your Brunswick fans and people. It's like, well, cores are what they are. A lot of them are in the same kind of zone, and they're using HK22 all over the place and cohesion and some of the same additives and whatever else. So they're trying to keep all the brands individual, but between all the brands, there is a ton of overlap. I'll find myself looking at stuff and I was like, well, there's 3 or 4 balls that do kind of like this same thing right now. And it's just, flip a coin between what this ball does, or like this new Black Widow Mania acts just like a Theorem, as far as I'm concerned. It does the same thing. The vaporize is in similar territory. But I'm only doing, I didn't get a chance to throw that new troublemaker because I'm just doing Brunswick, Track, and Hammer this year. I told him, like, I can't do all of them. But so I'm missing out on the troublemaker, but that new troublemaker solid looks like it's a winner.
Yeah, that's good. It's one of those balls. It's Brunswick said it the best. As soon as you see it going down the lane, it's the only ball right now that looks like that. Everybody's going to notice it. Everybody on YouTube makes it look pretty good. I know that's kind of their job, but it doesn't have HK22. So I think it's going to be, at least right now, one of the better balls that doesn't have that HK22, doesn't have cohesion, doesn't have any of it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I imagine Team Deviate's going to be throwing that one quite a bit because it is that earlier, smoother, and especially with that HK, it's not going to be as clean and kind of responsive. So it's going to be a little slower, a little bit more controllable. So
I think the one I missed out on is the Heckler. I didn't drill a Heckler because I was having so much success with the Hellcat, and I think I missed the mark on that one. I drilled that one for Jesse Bauer, and he's been throwing it a lot now that he's two-handed again. And he's been throwing that one a lot. He likes that one quite a bit. So, all right, we're going to look at Team Motiv. Matt Russo is new to the team. We got the mainstays like the EJs, Tom Smallwood. This team has 10 people on it. So, and is this going to be is it going to be, Zach, are they going to pick like 5 people out of their kind of
So how it's structured, so each tournament, so the top guy in each of the teams is the captain. So each week the captain plus 4 bowlers, well, I shouldn't say that. The team manager can pick 5 bowlers each week. And then it's based off where you finish in that tournament for points. And then that's what you get for the week. So, I mean, say you bench EJ. Why you would bench EJ? Kind of weird. No idea. But say you bench. Yeah, say you bench EJ for a week and you pick other 5 people, but EJ has a good week, you don't get those points.
Okay.
Oh, it's kind of fantasy-like.
Yeah.
I kind of dig the heck out of that, actually.
So the finals, though, so like when you go to your seeding, you can only take 5 bowlers. You can't take the entire team. So it's kind of weird and kind of interesting because it's a weird way how they're going to divvy up the prize fund because they're like we're bowling for a decent amount of money, but like if one bowler only bowls once out of the 12 tournaments, he only gets maybe like 1% of that prize fund. So it's kind of weird where like the PBA league, you only had your 6 guys and they all shared the prize fund. So like I think like I don't know how I like if I like this or not, but we're gonna find out. And I've never been one to sugarcoat anything. I just tell it how it is.
Yeah.
Just going off of it, kind of sounds like Anthony said. It sounds kind of like a fantasy bowling. That's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna dig that early.
You know what's gonna happen this year, where someone's gonna have a good week that just isn't on the team, and then like next week you're gonna put them in, and they might not have a good week. So it's like, for instance, like with our team, our first stop is in Delaware. Well, Thomas Keiko's on Team Hammer, Boog's on Hammer. Those guys were the 1 and 2 seeds last year.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, like you're playing the statistics, and I would think those 2 are going to be picked no matter what because they match up well in that building.
Yeah. That's something I hadn't thought. I mean, from the fans' perspective, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. But what you were talking about with the payout getting really interesting, that could be kind of annoying, especially when you have, it's like the team captain gets to pick everybody. And then it's like, okay, if you don't get picked and you do well, it's kind of like, what's up, man? I mean,
it's a very weird and interesting thing. Well,
think about like Dick Allen at Bayside, right? You show up and you're just the king of that building. The fans love you. You're gonna maybe that's the only time he bowls, but he's clutch and he strikes when it's time, and you're gonna get a very small piece of the prize fund, and you very well could be the reason that the team won. A very big piece of that.
100%.
I'm wondering if it gets averaged, like it goes to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer.
So it goes to the team manager, and then they divvy it up that way. Like I said, it's still all new to us, so like we're still kind of learning, what it's all about, and we're working with the managers as well to to figure things out. They kind of just threw this at us with really a month before the season, and we're like, okay.
Who's your manager?
Brian Graham.
Okay. And then we just looked at Motives. That is obviously that's Spengler, right?
Brett Spengler.
Spengler for there.
Yeah, and so I think we were talking about the MCP stuff or the microcell polymer stuff earlier, but Motiv stuff is generally pretty. The covers are pretty strong. I mean, even the Venom Shock is digs quite a bit, and them calling it a light to medium oil ball is kind of funny because it digs. But everything's pretty slow. Even the fast stuff is pretty slow comparatively, and so I think that's why they haven't really, when they need something slow or urethane like, not having outside of a tank blitz or something, they're going to be in a Venom Shock because it's early and slow enough that it's not urethane, but they can kind of fake it to make it or whatever.
Correct.
Well, no, we dropped we got to 9. 10? 9. Yeah, we got to 9, and then it didn't grab it. I think I need to rearrange the caps up there. But anyway, so
we start the show with Anthony. You weren't on yet. We start the show with Anthony saying, I'm barely drinking alcohol anymore. It looks like I'm cutting back, just popping a beer, and I'm like,
I've got an Imperial Stout here, and now we're getting into a Shiner Cheer. So let's move on to the Evil Empire here.
Evil Empire.
Yep. So we got Velmo, Kyle Troop, Jesper, Chris Vi, Deron Booker, Dombrowski. He's going to bowl full time, as far as I understand, this year.
Sounds maybe. I have
think
zero
so.
clue.
Is he He's not exempt though, is he?
He should be exempt.
I think he is, because I think he did well enough in a couple tournaments to.
I mean, he finished second at the Masters, which basically gives you 5,000 points, which is pretty much enough to be exempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he missed a few tournaments though, didn't he? He didn't bowl the
Yeah,
whole schedule, right?
he didn't.
He hasn't been, but I think he's some kind of a whatever with it. If it's a situation thing or if he got enough points this year or whatever, I think he's going to give it a run. Kyle Sherman is finally healthy for the moment. Anyway, Francois, Darren, and Thomas Larson. So this is going to be a fairly tough group to pick 5 out of on a week-to-week basis. I think you got to lean on.
I mean, you go Belmo, Troops, Vincent, Vi, and then outside of that,
but I mean, that's
Francois,
when you got to
probably
start playing the centers and the patterns, and that gets a little tricky. But I mean that.
I see Darren Tang is teasing throwing a two-handed now too. So I'm curious if he throws it more two-handed on the tour this year.
I don't know. I think he's a better two-hander than a one-hander. But if Urethane's in play, just be one-handed, because that's.
Did I cut you off?
No.
I did, go ahead.
I see Darren Tang, and he's building his toolbox so that he's going to bring an element to choosing players that that they're going to have to take into strategy and into the thought process. Hey, is he going to bowl two-handed? Is he going to bowl one-handed? Where are we at?
Yeah. I mean, all he does is just expands his versatility. So that's
well,
that's never going to hurt.
This is one of those things everybody bitches about the two-handed stuff, but it's just not. It's not that easy. I mean, it presents its own set of challenges, and it's not like you just walk into everything two-handed and everything is just magically easier. Sure, speed and power helps, but sometimes you'd rather be Norm Duke. I mean, sometimes you'd rather be Darren Tang with a pitch black. I mean, it's.
Zach's sitting here thinking these dumbasses sitting here breaking down.
Yeah.
Dude, I just do my own thing now. It's like I'm just tired. Like I just go do my own thing. I don't ask for help. I just figure it out myself. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you got to. No one else is paying your bills, so like you got to go attack it. So
yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
Real quick, if we go to the next team, did you bring on any new brands this year? Or are you still just Hammer and same jersey apparel company?
I do not. I have a New Jersey company, but it has not been announced yet. So it should. We're finalizing everything, and should be announcing it at the end of this week.
Sounds good. You can slide into my
yeah. I'll tell you guys outside of that, but yeah. Other than that, I'm still Hammer. Still Vice Inserts, still KR Strike Force. So
good deal. I didn't know if I'd heard anything. We hadn't talked much about it, other than you and I just usually BS. So I didn't.
Yeah, I kind of kept this one under wraps a little bit.
Curious to see who it is.
Just have to find out.
I guess we'll know in a week.
Yeah.
Luke and I just re-upped with Coolwick, so we're back with Coolwick.
Nice. Right on, brother.
Good deal.
So to talk real quick about so they have this new level. I haven't really seen it look good for anybody. We'll see what it looks like for Zach Rhodes here in a week or so. But it looks like it's trying to be something that it's just not going to. And the same thing with the new blue. To be honest, I mean, we're not just taking shots at Storm here. The new blue was supposed to be. It's good at something that's not what it was supposed to be good at. Like if you let it shine up and throw it on a dirty house shot, it looked pretty freaking sweet. And the level is not. It's not the Purple Hammer. It's better than the red ball, but that's kind of a low bar. And because it's not urethane, they will be able to use it. But and some of their new stuff, since they've been kind of catching up from Softgate, looks okay. The Ion Max, I think, is a big strong ball that they're going to be able to use when they need something to hook. But they've got some. I don't want to let my bias show, so I'm gonna. we'll just move on. I'm not a big fan of their stuff right now.
Next team.
Let's go ahead and set this next play out.
We'll move on here. So So on Team Brunswick, we got the Pac-Man, Graham Fod, Jason Sterner, Don Barrett, Stubler, Tim Foy, Andrew Hall, Gary Faulkner Jr., and Parker Bone.
Andrew Hall's another guy that got in through the tour trials, I believe.
Yep.
That guy throws the ball amazing. He's from the Northeast.
Yeah, he does.
I got to watch him quite a bit bowling the Nebas when I was up in Rhode Island. That guy just has a way. If you can get the ball to go down the lane in the Northeast with the age of the surfaces, the age of the buildings, and just the way it takes to get the ball down the lane, you're a special human being. Assuming you're not on a tour pattern, right? I mean, you're talking just basic house patterns. But when they get tough and they get short, he throws the ball so good. I'm excited for Andrew Hall in this one.
Then you got some other names on here that Tim Foy is solid too.
Great year this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last couple of years he's actually been pretty solid.
And some of these other guys, you don't see them a whole lot.
I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for this, though, but I don't think Parker Bone should be on the team. Personally.
I'm not entirely sure the last two picks on the team. Mainly because I could be wrong here, but Gary Faulkner Jr. doesn't bowl tour stuff.
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen him bowl the tour stuff in a long time.
Parker Bone bowls maybe the majors.
Yeah,
maybe the one thing. So I'm not I respect the hell out of Parker because he's the one who gave me the opportunity with the Waco Wonders.
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see Parker as the manager.
I agree with that.
Instead of a player.
I just don't understand because these guys got to qualify, right? They've got to qualify to be able to.
Yeah, and you already got a good lefty on that team
with
Graham. Graham is by far a very good lefty.
Well, that's what it. And again, not taking any shots at anybody because I mean, you're at least out there with them. We're just kind of sitting here, armchair quarterbacking. But
Parker is still competitive. He will give you the business and everything. I just think the tours evolved so much that that's kind of why he doesn't bowl much of it anymore. It's just I wouldn't say he knows he doesn't stand a chance, but everything's kind of has to fall into line for the style of his game now to work.
Yeah. Well, and
I agree.
To me, it kind of feels like I mean, you got Packy and Graham, but it almost feels like we need a couple lefties that aren't Packy and Graham type of deal.
Yeah. I'm not sure with that team. I mean, they want us to kind of, I wouldn't say bash each other team, but give different teams, the business and say, oh, we're the best. But I also feel like that burns a lot of bridges too, because we're in a sport where we're already on a fine thin of rope. So
I'm a pot stirrer. We can sit here and talk shit all you want.
It's one of those things.
I love doing that shit. So
well, yeah, it's one of those things where the industry is so small that you can't. I mean, there's a fine line between trash talking and it going too far.
Yeah,
and there are some people you have a Dave Wadka that's very loyalty first and whatever else, and it's man, we at the same time we got to do what's best for us here too. And I understand that not all of us can stick with the same company for 20 years or something like that. There's all kinds of extra stuff, but it's a small enough industry that there's a very fine line between just talking some trash and having some friendly banter and going across a line that may cause big problems for you down the line.
Good, 100%. I've been a loyal guy my entire life, as everyone knows. I was with Motiv for 13. Yeah,
45 years.
45 years, but 13 years. And one thing about the bowling community is bowlers talk. So everyone and I was talking about this with Graham today, is bowlers don't know their value to a company because no one knows the valuation of what a bowler makes.
Yeah.
So you go sit and talk numbers to these companies, and then they look at you and laugh. And it's like, okay, well, this is what I think I'm worth. But then they don't like negotiate with you. They just give you an absolute shit number and expect you to live off that. And it's like, no, like that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's one of those. They kind of look at you and think, well, you need us more than we need you.
Yeah, that's why. If you're in the comments, I'm telling you, free agency is a cool thing. It's a very cool thing. You get to throw the best of everything.
Mm-hmm. I am completely missing the comments for had the window closed because I'm trying to navigate. But
I've been sitting here watching them, but I did a few questions. We can get into it. Zach, how much longer you want to stay on? I know you're sick.
It doesn't matter. I got a full bottle of NyQuil that I'll drink half of, so I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right. We only got a couple more teams to get through, then we can talk some like team trial stuff or whatever. Ebonite, we got Jake Peters, who he's kind of seen a little resurgence in his career. Definitely very unfortunate circumstance for that guy over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
When Toby Contreras used to run the GMJBTs, or the Greater Midwest Junior Bowlers Tour. Those we were bowling in youth leagues on Sport Patterns before Sport Patterns were even really a thing, like in the late 90s and early 2000s. And we bowled a lot of stuff that Melissa was at, and kind of got to know her a little bit. She was a better female bowler, and that's just a really, really sad thing for Jake. But he's been making something happen for himself. Matt Sanders, Tommy Jones has been around for a million years. Jacob Buttriff, Ascona, AJ Chapman, Brandon Runk, and Kim Bollaby.
Runk was in town bowling last weekend.
Yeah, him and Alexis were in town bowling.
I heard Waswell decided to put out Red Square again. That seemed fun.
Yeah, then we bowled on Bourbon Street on Sunday. We bowled on Bourbon Street on Sunday. They didn't double strip. So we were bowling on the Bourbon Red Square.
Okay, because last year on Red Square, Dylan Burns went plus 120 or something, just something absolutely completely stupid, and nobody else was even close to it.
No, I'm pretty sure I qualified fourth in that tournament. I was like minus 55.
Yeah,
I think he was the only one plus, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was just in his own little world.
Yeah, because that Bourbon Street, it was like 40 feet, 23 mils at Summit, and you already know the damn place is going to hook. And then we throw a couple balls down the lane and to the right, it just goes dead straight, and we're like, whoa. Oh, there's some Red Square in this.
I guess to catch up on a little bit of equipment stuff, Brunswick's got plenty of stuff right now. Ebonite, they've got some pretty solid stuff. It's one of the. It seems like Ebonite either puts out like really like bangers or completely absolutely forgettable stuff. But we're going to see a bunch of GB5s.
But okay, with Ebonite, correct me if I'm wrong, because this doesn't make sense in my head. But that Ebonite Crusher, the original Crusher that they came out with,
was a hybrid.
Yeah, and then they come out with this Crusher and call it a hybrid. Yeah. I don't understand it.
Marketing's fun sometimes. I really do enjoy marketing, but yeah, the original Crusher was a hybrid. But
what was the purpose of this?
I don't know, because the original one does not have HK22, and I actually pulled up the website just as you were starting to talk. This one does not have the original Crusher does not have HK22. It's 2000 grit, but the new one does have HK. It's still optimized, but it's HK22C, so it's got cohesion in it. Cohesion is very strong and flippy. Some people get lost in the covers and the additives and whatever, but if a ball's got cohesion in it, you kind of notice, you can pick up on that. And this one's shiny, but I don't understand why you wouldn't make it a pearl, just to kind of differentiate, just for marketing purposes, because people are going to say, okay, the original one is a hybrid, the new one's a hybrid, the numbers are the same, one's shiny, one's dull. And it's like, well, the cover throws a pretty big wrench in there. But yeah, I don't.
To me, it's just like you're lighting your own money on fire. Like, I really don't understand the purpose of I'm baffled by it. I never got to throw the original Crusher. Probably not going to throw the hybrid, but I I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good. I know the real time is extra special. It's one of those super throwback balls. Like, you remember watching the arena shows in like the 90s when the guys are out there with those shiny single color balls that just kind of had that nice little round kind of arky, like the Bob Learn 850 something show or whatever. The real time is one of those balls. And so they've got a couple, GB5 real time, one reverb, but then they've got some stuff like the Crusher that just nobody cares about, especially when it's orange and then the other one's purple. I don't know why they've got a thing for orange and purple, but yeah. So
if it was orange and navy blue, it'd be okay. Just saying.
So moving on, the global team, Andrew Anderson. Yeah. I'll get lost talking shit really quick.
No, I'm right there with you, dude.
Yeah. Andrew Anderson, Richie Teese, Hoope, Sean Rash, Ryan Barnes makes the list. Chase Nadeau, Chris Sloan, and Chris Barnes.
Isn't Hoope in the room with you right now, Zach? Or are you not?
No. We're all rooming together. My buddy Hartwin, he's out for dinner, which he is bringing me back dinner since I'm on this show. And I also had to say no to a NHL hockey game to be on this show. So as a Canadian, saying no to hockey is really weird. But that
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do for you off the air.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah.
Sorry.
Mitch is currently at a hockey game right now.
I was gonna say we should talk a lot of shit on him. Maybe sitting back there.
Oh, I've already talked shit to him today.
Oh.
Sorry, Luke.
No, we're completely good there. I'm all good on that. If I can get to the.
Didn't mean to take things off the rails there.
No,
for a
I'm
minute,
trying to get to the.
Got to throw some fun in there. We need to get the team hammered quick.
Global has a little bit of a problem when it comes to equipment right now because they've got a bunch of strong stuff and then nothing after that. So these guys, when they get to a show, they're going to have like the Harsh Reality, the Sublime Focus, and that's kind of it. They don't have anything under the Sublime, so they don't have like an Exponent. They don't have like anything in like IQ Tour territory or anything in like they don't have anything in Scorpion low flare territory. They just are kind of. They've got a bunch of big ASIMs and a couple big symmetric balls, and that's it. So it could get really interesting for those guys.
Well, there's still time, and if they're listening to this show, maybe they're taking a hint.
Yeah, they need to.
Exactly. Well, if Hoope wouldn't have went to a damn hockey game,
who knows?
Rat best. All right, so Roto Grip, Justin Knowles leaves the Hammer Urethane behind. I can't understand that really being that guy, but
at least he didn't go to where all the lefties die.
Yeah.
So there, I'm just gonna say that.
Ooh.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Shots fired.
No,
Should we stir the pot some more?
I'm good.
No, I'm kidding,
I mean, I just filled the pot with that. So.
So you got Simo, Justin Knowles, Prather, BJ Moore, Stu Williams, DJ Archer, Kevin McCune also joins the team.
I didn't know that until just. I mean, I saw that on this post on Facebook, but I didn't realize that until I saw this.
I'm really interested to see that, but you can't exactly launch storm balls down the ditch at 22 miles an hour and expect them to finish. But
maybe the level.
Yeah. Then of course,
I thought Wes Malott was pretty much. I mean,
he is kind of done, but I think it's one of those Parker Bone picks.
Ooh.
Where it's like, how do you
guess
not
that's true.
pick him, but why?
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's all off of your each week's numbers, right?
Well, I don't even think like you can have the highest point for your team. Does that mean you're going to be one of the 5 that go to the end? No, I mean, yes, you would think based off stats, but it's ultimately up to your team managers at that point. So
yeah, they only have one lefty on that team.
No,
Justin
they got just one left.
Just Knowles.
Justin.
Yeah.
At Roto,
so he's going to get picked.
Roto Grip's got some good stuff to work with. Now they did discontinue the gyms, but at the same time, I think the PBA rule is up to within like the last 2 years.
Yeah, they didn't change the date. It's still August 22nd of 2022, I think, or whatever it is.
So I think that disqualifies the original gym, but they've got. I think Roto's probably been the best SPI brand for the last few years, I would say. But they've got some stuff like the Attention Star is pretty special. That Optimum Idol and the Hustle X-Ray is kind of a sleeper. So I think those guys will have, even if they can't throw the gyms, if those are kind of timed out, I think they'll have plenty of stuff to work with. And then we're gonna move on to the best brand in the industry as far as I'm concerned.
Man, it's in the best team on the new Battle of the Brands. Are you kidding me?
Look out!
A couple names on there that are so suspect.
I mean, this team is stacked. There's I think there's there's 4 of us that were in the top 10 last year. 4.
Yeah,
this actually is a great
team.
Team.
4 out of the 8 were in the top 10 in points last year.
Yeah, you got a guy like Marshall Kent that just, the poor guy, he was kind of, if you're not like necessarily the face of your brand, you can kind of get lost in the weeds. And when he was on with Storm for a while, it was all about Belmo and Simo and Troop and whatever else, and he just wasn't either at that level or he just wasn't whatever. He tried the big bowling thing. COVID hit right as they were about to launch. That kind of floundered, and he's kind of gotten his mojo back a little bit. Getting on with Hammer. Bill O'Neill's been the dude that he's been, and of course, this Zach Wilkins guy. We all know about him locally since you've been here for a while. I actually did a lot of live comms on the PBA tournaments, the finals last year, because there was
you and I did the whole World Series together.
There was a lot of people
actually,
that didn't really like the actual PBA commentary.
Randy Peterson.
So we did some of those, and that was a really fun. Really
say
fun
names, Luke. It's okay. Throw the ad out there.
Yep. Randy Peterson and the guy that lives in a van down by the river. Yeah.
John Fanta.
Yeah.
He went out for burgers and fries, came back with steak and potatoes.
So we know about Zach Wilkins. We know about
Booger.
Tom Doherty. Eric Jones had a World Series, but most of the lefties had a World Series. Keiko and Maldonado finally got him one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The two names that are fun on this team for me, though, and it's not because he's on this show, but Wilkins and Boog are two good names, especially the two guys that had good years. Obviously, Boog brought home a couple of titles, but Zach had probably his best year yet, and just parlay that into another big year for those guys. That'd be awesome. I think that'd be a good team. It's gonna be really.
Yeah, I think my season was like undervalued because I was top 10 in points without bowling a major.
You were grinding, dude.
which is triple points. Like, so any one of those guys, like it's so easy to just get I'm not shitting on D-Ron Booker by any means because I love that dude. Great dude, very humble, but he wins a major at 7,500 points, and that's it. I don't know if he cashed in anything else.
What was your best major? Was it the Players?
I honestly don't know. It might have been the players. Players, I think, were the 8th or not, 7th or 8th.
All I know is I got to see both the players in match play, so I brought you a coffee.
You did. And if anyone is watching and do come watch any of the stops, I do like a Quick Trip coffee. 1 cream, 1 sugar. Just saying.
Except I didn't go to. I went to Dutch
yeah,
Bros.
Dutch
where I
Bros.
went.
Dutch.
But yeah,
But like that's the thing. The points are so like heavily skewed, in my opinion.
They've got to fix that somehow, right?
I'm not saying like
just
winning
silly
should
to me.
gain you an exemption, but like
Yeah.
you know, the points in majors are just absolutely ridiculous, and especially in the TOC where like I can't even bowl the TOC because I don't have a regional. I don't like bowling regionals because they pay like ass. Financially, they might be the dumbest thing to bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like the field isn't really the strongest because you get all those, the older guys that have the titles that just show up for the one tournament, and like you don't really get the best of the best, in my opinion. You get the legends that were the best, but you don't get like the best quality of bowlers that are on tour really now.
Well, even if you do go win a regional, say in a couple weeks, to get yourself into at least into the field for the tour or for the TOC, that'd still require you to bowl the PTQ,
Yeah,
correct?
so like even if you have a regional, you got to bowl the PTQ. But like I just don't like bowling regionals because, like for an example, I went and bowled the St. Louis regional. So from Kansas City to St. Louis, it's 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got your gas, you got your hotel, you got your entry, you got your food. After it's all said and done, I was at just over $800 for expenses. Just for myself, for the hotel for the 2 days, your gas there and back, your entry's $250. Then you got your food for the couple of days, which nowadays it's like, on average $30 a meal maybe, if you want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And I cashed for $750, and I finished, I don't know, 5th or 6th. And so I lost.
Yeah,
money.
that's terrible.
And it was only 3.5 hours away. So it's like
don't the super regionals pay a little more if you do like?
Yeah,
one
but
of the
those
supers?
happen like once every, maybe once every, year per
And they're not
regionals.
3 hours
But
away usually.
But yeah, I'm not going to travel more than 3.5 hours because then my expenses get even more. Like the gas mileage adds up and all that. And it's just they're just dumb. Like they need.
No, I completely
like
get it.
I'm bitching about it, and I probably do need to bowl regionals to get into the TOC, but I promise you I'm going to win a national title before a regional title.
Well, let's just get that done
let's
this
just do
year.
that
and
and
let's
don't
just
worry
stop
about the rest
bitching
of it.
How about that?
Yeah, but for all those regional rats, just know that financially wise, they might not be the greatest thing.
For you regional rats, just know Zach Wilkins hates you.
No, I mean, if it's not super local, I mean, people don't stop and do the numbers on that stuff sometimes. They're just like, oh, well, why don't these?
No.
It's like, well, you got to think about, they would rather bowl like a local Waswo tournament where you can get in a shitload of brackets and you're right there and you can bowl it and the entry's $100 and you can hit the all-in button on brackets for $500 or $600 and walk out of there with $1,500 or whatever. That's
easily
in a day, and you don't
easily.
Well, you can make way more money at a David Mike tournament than you
ever
could
at a regional. And I've done that before. Like all of you have done that before. Like it's so easy. And like, I'm sorry, regional, like they don't pay my bills. I'm sorry. You don't pay me enough to pay my bills. If I have to go somewhere else to make money to pay my bills while I'm down here, I'm doing it. Plain and simple.
Yep.
Yeah. I get it. I don't blame you one bit. Don't blame you one bit.
So obviously I think Hammer's got the best stuff on the market right now as far as, and I'm not even trying to bullshit or be funny. Like I think Hammer legitimately has the best stuff on the market right now because that new, I know that something like a Black Widow Mania is not going to show up a whole bunch when you're bowling on tougher patterns, but it is just words I can't say on YouTube.
But the ghost will.
Yeah. The new 3D offset assault is going to be it's going to fly under the radar. The Hammer Effect Tour.
100%. That ball is.
I know. I kind
I
of
know,
want
right?
one.
My buddy who's driven with me too, he just drilled one. Mine are in Kansas City right now, so I won't drill until the tour starts. But very good. That 3D offset assault, very good.
It's definitely going to be under the radar because unfortunately it releases with the Black Widow. Because I mean, the Black Widow is just a stupid league ball, but the 3D offset assault is going to be a quiet, both league killer, tough shot, whatever else. That ball is going to be really, really good.
To me, it's a better NV Tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the weird thing.
Damn.
I think that the Effect Tour is kind of quietly better than the NV Tour also.
I like the Effect Tour.
Pure in.
That's it. Both of those are fighting words, just so you know, because that ball is so good.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Luke.
I was gonna say Pure Envy. The Hazmat Solid is like a better phase 2. The Scorpion Strike is kind of quietly one of the better like heavy transition balls. And I know you can't use it for the league, but I think the Black Pearl Urethane ended up being better than people expected it to be. It's kind of like, okay, well, we've got this new blue, and we're really excited about that since we can't throw the Purple Hammer on tour anymore. And then we're going to kind of chuck out this Black Pearl just kind of like as a fail-safe, and then it ended up being really kind of good. And then you still got the NV Tour there. The Ocean Vibe is kind of quiet. The Black Widow 3.0, just top to bottom, all kinds of stuff with Hammer. It's just good stuff everywhere.
I would take it. Thinking about this, and I really didn't think about this until I was in Kansas City and I watched Zack strike a whole bunch with that. What was that? The Sensor Solid.
Oh, underrated.
Oh man, and it made me think. Matter of fact, I was talking to Dylan Burns, watching you just stroke him, and there's not that many great red bowling balls that I can remember. I mean, the Mission kind of way back, right? But other than that, you got to go Sensor Solid. What other red bowling balls? Can you think of a red bowling ball?
Whatever the GB
Storm,
regular.
What was that Storm? The IQ Ruby.
Yeah, it's kind of okay.
But no one really threw that one because that gold one was better.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Tank Blitz count though because it's microcell?
No,
I mean it was good. yeah, but you count the greatest bowling ball of all time as a urethane ball. So come on now. No, the Tank Blitz was good though. I like the Tank Blitz a lot, but it's hard to.
Was the Venom recoil close enough to being red?
No,
you're also talking to a guy who's colorblind, so like
you and Austin Bolds.
Yes, my wife just put in here. I love my Sensor Solid.
Okay, so for anyone out there, the Sensor Solid discontinued. Very sad. Very unfortunate. Yeah. The replacement, in my opinion, the Criterion. I know it's asymmetrical, but holy shit, that ball is unbelievable.
Did that make your list for trials?
Yeah, he does have a Criterion.
I remember seeing your list.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to throw it on all of the patterns because all of the patterns are basically the same length. So it's just going to be throw urethane, make a big jump left, hook the lane. And the Criterion does it the best.
I was going to say,
are you guys blowing on stuff as hard as they put down for the Team USA stuff?
It's similar. The thing is we're bowling in a facility that just flat out hooks. Hooks. So like the volumes we're using aren't incredibly high. And the distances between the patterns for the first 4 days are a matter of 3 feet. So like your window is staying the same. Where day 5 is the pattern we bowled at for the 4th of July. So I have a very good knowledge of what that pattern is. And it's exactly the same as team trials for the USA day 5 of last year. They got that speed bump down lane and it's 45 feet.
Yep.
But the first 4 patterns they're all the same. Like to me, it's kind of silly because you're gonna have a guy that likes to do the same thing. Like there's some guys that just are only good at one thing, and if this is their thing, they're gonna have a good week. There's
No,
really no
absolutely. Yeah, sorry,
versatility in it.
I didn't mean to cut you guys off there. I was curious, generally curious on that because, I mean, I didn't see the patterns. I didn't know the format even going into tonight. So
Yeah, it's more of like it's like
For-
a
for,
sprint and
you know.
not a race. Like
does Valerie Bercier bowl that, or does she not bowl for a
she
team
doesn't
anymore?
bowl. Yeah.
I didn't think so. She's pretty much give up the PWBA stuff too.
Yeah,
for what I know.
she's doing her own thing with John. I know her business is very successful in what she does for her I guess weight loss or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but I always see her posting on Facebook and with her clients being very happy. And the success rate looks awesome. So I don't blame her for just doing her business and not bowling because bowling pays like shit.
And they
Yeah. She always sends me a message on my birthday every year that says "Happy Birthday, Scorpio." But no, she throws it so damn good. That's one of those things that she's so
fairly
good.
new mom too.
Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. I forget they got
Yeah.
Little John. Yeah.
Especially when you look at the women's
Great
side of
name.
thing, like Stephanie Zavala has even taken kind of a step back. She's not going to be on, didn't go to tour trials or whatever. And
She's already automatically in though.
yeah, but she's kind of taken a
She made the
step
team, I
back
believe.
a little bit, and they kind of dump on the women too. Like they don't really have anything. They got a few stops for them over the couple months over the
it's
summer,
true.
and then they really, that whole PWBA, PBA 50, the trios tournament thing that they tried to get off the ground, and it didn't really. A lot of the women didn't show up, and Couch was kind of pissed. But it's kind of like, man, they had something else that was close to it, or like I think the Lucy was kind of close.
They
to
could
it,
have picked a better venue too. Like no one
Yeah.
wants to drive to Arkansas or especially Jonesboro.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, Jonesboro's
like-
awful.
Well, it's back
Anywhere
when
but
you're,
there.
when you're
Anywhere
talking about
but there.
expenses, and it's like, okay, well, yes, I would like to go bowl this stuff, but you've got to think if bowling is your job, you've got to look at the numbers. You can't just say, like, we can go bowl. I can go bowl at Tulsa and Springfield and whatever else, and just think, okay, well, I don't really care if I'm not going to get any brackets. I'm just going to go bowl it for the fun of it. But
Yeah.
I have a regular job. If bowling is your job, you have to pay attention to the numbers, and there's only so much fun stuff that you can go bowl
Correct.
before you have to stop and think. It's like, okay, well, sure, this is fun, but if I'm not going to make any money, you got to make a decision there.
Amen to that.
It's like a damn war zone upstairs in my house. My wife is playing Call of Duty
What,
upstairs, and I can hear it.
all with a VR set? Or what? Like what?
No, she's playing on the Xbox. I've got these ear monitors in, and I can hear everything with this microphone. Like it just sounds. If she farts, I'll hear it. I'm telling you the truth. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, all I hear is. Brrr. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
All right, so I'm kind of disappointed that nobody's asked why Zach is asked how he's bowling at Team USA trials.
Man,
or why he's not there.
I told you it was going to be under.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for that, but I guess that just means that we have like the best viewers out there, because sometimes I go and look at the comment section. I don't watch a whole lot of other YouTube videos because I barely like making them, let alone watching them. But like Packy's comment section is cancer. Darren's comment section is cancer.
Is it ever?
Oh, yeah.
Like I can't even like I don't even think that these people are human. I don't know how they make it through a day. And so I was just ready. I'm like, okay, well, yes, Zach's Canadian, so he's going to be bowling for. So he's not going to be at the Team USA trials.
Well, to be fair, we didn't talk a ton about it really. So if we would have, I guarantee
if I'd have set some people up, I think we could have made it happen. But
Lockwood, aren't you going to Tulsa with us going forward? I don't know if it's this year or next year or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
I think for Zach and you and Luke, I've talked to Trevor here recently, and I think we're going to try and make
2 weekends now. We're gonna
Mhm.
try and book
Dude,
2 weekends. To
I
go.
looked at the results. How stupid it is. We lost on the last week because
No way.
Yeah, and one of the dudes on the team had like 15 entries.
that tournament has. I get you're maybe struggling for entries, but the fact you can just bowl team event like that guy, yeah, like you said, bowled. I don't know how many team squads every weekend, so he gets to see it every weekend. Figure it out. Figure it out. Naturally, a team's going to beat that. We only did it one time.
Yeah.
God, the number that you put up though, the fact that
Dude,
it
it
got beat
by
like
50.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just I saw that and I was like, no way. Like, and then I looked at the
it's
then I
up to
looked
you
at the
though.
team and I was like, oh, these are the same guys that just go one here, one's not going to be in, so they'll sub another guy. Like it's just it's a fucking spinning
yeah.
wheel.
But if you live there, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. It's dumb.
Well, that's the Packy rule, where for a while the people that went to Southwest you could only bowl that tournament the sweeper the night before once, because Packy went like 89,900 for the 4 games. He shot 1189, and they're like, yeah, you can't show up every week.
69. 1169.
Damn.
Oh, okay. Okay,
that's
it's only
that's a lot.
1169. Oh my god.
A miss in the
That's not
middle is a
much.
lot different than the miss at the beginning or end.
That's a fact.
But I know we're gonna we're gonna make 2 weekends out of it. Like go early and then go around the same time we go. So if you guys are interested in going multiple times, Trevor, let them know, because we'll make multiple weekends out of
I'll send him a message and he'll respond about a week and a half later. So.
it. Well, it's funny is they know I'm live right now, and they just said that I know Jonathan's live, so we're gonna sit here and just keep freaking texting back and forth. So my phone has vibrated for like the last hour and a half between him and
Trevor,
three
if
other
you're
people.
listening, I know you guys just had a baby, so congratulations. But for the love of God, answer a text message. Jesus.
I will screen grab
Good
this and send it to him.
Lord.
Bro,
He
he
is-
can answer
he
he
is
can answer a
bad.
text message before he had a kid. So
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever need to get a hold of him, call him.
I think
Yeah,
he
that's-
told me that, but I mean,
Call him. Even if you have to ask him the stupidest damn question ever. Hey, what time are you taking a shower in the morning? Okay, cool.
I
Thanks.
don't think
Appreciate
I'm
it.
that close with Trevor yet.
I mean, I love him, but I don't know what time he wants to shower.
Call him and
We're
ask
good.
him.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll call him and put him on speaker right now. Hey,
Let's not
hey
do
bro,
that.
what
Let's
time
not
you
do that.
showering in the morning? No, because he would not say something that should be on there.
Uh-huh.
Or he would say something that should be on there. All right, sorry. Carry on here. I did actually have a question, Luke, unless I was
go
gonna
for it.
So, okay, for this tour season, Zach, is what term? Obviously, you're looking for the majors, right? So the majors. Is there a venue though, like that you look forward to going to every year, or one that's on the tour season this year that you're like, man, I can't wait to get there?
There was a venue I really enjoyed, and we no longer bowl there since COVID. I think it was where the Players Championship was always held. It was at Wayne Webb's.
Columbus.
Oh yeah, Wayne Webb. Yep.
Yeah, and Columbus, Ohio, and he just he was a bowler himself. He understood everything. Like he just treated us like we were professionals. So we always had a catered meal. The paddock was a little bit more private. There was breakfast
Nice.
in the morning. He just catered to us in a way where any other venue nowadays, anyone can just walk into the paddock and just take shit. Where it has happened,
Yeah.
in previous years, and I'm not saying we should be catered by any means, but buying food every day for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or skipping a meal or whatever, it gets expensive on the road. And
Oh yeah.
hosting a professional event, I feel like I wouldn't say we're entitled to it, but if you look at any other professional sport, I mean, they're not paying for shit. Like other clubs
No.
paying for it or whatever. But I do miss Wayne Webb's a lot. I think my favorite venue is the U.S. Open in Indy because I've always had a good success in that building. I've bowled.
Are you talking about Woodland? Is
Yeah.
it Woodland Bowl?
It's
Yeah,
I've just naturally matched up to that building every year that I've gone. Um, so, and I like the toughness of it. I like the grittiness of it because some bowlers, and I've been guilty of it many times, can fry out pretty quickly. But in a tournament like that, you gotta, you know, maybe take that 3 seconds of freaking out and then, man, get right back into it because the U.S. Open is a long week, and if
Oh,
you
yeah,
can, and
absolutely.
it's so early in our calendar that if you can't stay mentally stable throughout that tournament, to me the rest of the year is already done for.
Isn't it
It's
coming
Well,
right
up?
after it's right after
Yeah, it's right
Delaware.
the next one.
Yeah, see, I pulled up the
And-
calendar here. And I was going to talk about that a little bit. So you're in Delaware, January 20th. That starts Middletown, Delaware, which seems like a very odd place to start a season because it's
The dumbest
just
shit ever.
way up out of the way.
Middletown, yeah. Delaware in January. What I mean, what snowstorm could we run into?
You know, what could possibly
Like-
go wrong here?
Like,
Well, you can come home, you'll find out.
like it's just, it would be cool to go out, maybe do what the golf does. They start places warm and slowly make their way towards
It's bowling. Nothing makes sense when it
like
comes
I
to
get
bowling,
we're an
so-
indoor sport, but the travel, because most people can't afford to fly because it's expensive.
Apparently, the PWA players can't, or PWBA guys, they always fly everywhere. I see Verity on a plane every
Well,
time.
I
and
mean,
it's insane.
those people are getting paid a lot. Like this is why, like
I would
most
hope so.
people don't understand how much some of these guys make, and that's where like it'd be cool to see valuation so other bowlers know what to ask for or know how to
Well, yeah, of course.
negotiate.
And if you reach out to them, they're not going to tell you shit either. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, they're giving me like 40 grand a year just to fly. And...
Like I'm not saying she gets paid to fly, but I mean I'm sure she has multiple
No, I
contracts
know.
for just her videos, maybe her socials. I don't know, but
Oh yeah, no, I was just throwing random crap out there. But yeah,
Well, and then when you're trying to fly with 30 bowling balls too, I mean that's
yeah, it's tough. And I like bringing bowling balls to tournaments because I like having options. I mean,
do you ship anything on the truck?
yeah,
You
so
put anything on the truck from week
exempt
to week?
bowlers are allotted 9 bowling balls per week. So, yes.
On the
So
truck.
we will put 9 bowling balls on the truck and then the rest come with us. If we've drilled the ball for just, a certain block, then we kind of just leave it there. Or give it away to a kid, sign it, do whatever, make someone happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I like to drive personally, and I don't think they realize how many of the guys drive because the schedule has many conflicts. If you really look at it from show to practice sessions, you might not make it.
yeah.
Yeah, if you make the show and you go all the way through the show and you win, you probably
Well,
You
not
might
gonna
not even
practice
make you might not even make the next event.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
silly.
that's again looking at this like the Delaware Classic ends on the 25th in Delaware, and then in Indianapolis, the U.S. Open starts on the 26th.
Yeah.
That's this month,
Yeah,
right?
January 20th, and then the U.S. Open starts on the 26th, and then Indiana and Illinois are fairly close. So then you go U.S. Open finishes up on the 2nd of February. The next tournament starts on the 3rd of February, but it's also paired with the Roth Holman doubles.
Yeah, so there's
Right.
2 conflicts. And one's Delaware, and the other one is the World Championship to the Masters.
Yeah.
So Reno, Detroit, basically cross country. So if
Yeah.
you make the World Championship show, which
Yeah.
I believe starts at 2 p.m., maybe 4 p.m., I'm not sure. You make that show, and if you're driving, that's a 28-hour drive with a time change,
Yeah.
which you do not get to any of your practice sessions the very next day in Detroit for the Masters, which if you have an 8 a.m.
No way.
squad, you're probably not making your 8 a.m. squad either.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really hope that happens to me this year just to prove a point for us guys that drive. Give us a travel day or 2 travel days, especially across country.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you win and it happens to you.
Whether I
I'd
make
go
the
and
show, I
go.
would rather make the show. Just
100%.
because either way, I'm screwed.
I should have taken a video of you when we were down in Galveston. We were getting ready to board a boat to go on a cruise, and we had you on in our B&B. It was, I don't remember what show it was. And Ray, I should have taken a video, Raylan. You would have loved it because she was in there jumping on the bed,
That's
excited.
awesome.
We were shocked, man. I was hoping you were going to get it done, but Carrie just didn't go your way.
Well, the
there.
unfortunate thing is I'm averaging 250 on TV. The
Oh, see,
unfortunate thing is
pretty hot.
they're also averaging 250 against me on TV.
So
that's bogus.
That's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like 1-1 with a 254.5 average on TV or something, and the one single time that the red balls looked good, and Kyle had an arrow and a half to throw it at, which we all wish that we all would like to have. I'm not talking shit. We all would love to have. We're gonna take it and we're gonna use every single bit of it, but yeah.
That was the troop match.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
mean,
It was the troop.
There's not a lot you can do when you get 279 shot at you.
Yeah, but if here's the thing. Like everyone says, oh yeah, Kyle beat you, Kyle. I beat myself that game because I missed a single pin in the second frame. So I'm already.
Didn't you flag it? Was
It was
it
a
10,
10
right?
pin.
You
And
flagged it 10?
the fact I made that show too, because I went through 4 spare balls that week because I just couldn't make a goddamn spare. So that.
Was it a field?
No,
Like
it's
fit
just
field?
subconscious.
it's up,
Everyone
it's
knows.
up there, yeah.
Yeah, it's all up here. So like you miss a couple of spares with a spare ball, you're like, nah, we're just gonna get a new one because then like if we keep making them, you're like, oh, I'm 100% with this ball.
All right. So every time I miss a flag a 10 pin, I'm gonna tell him, man, I'm drilling a new damn spare
it's
ball.
so easy to blame the ball. But in that match, yeah, if I spare that frame, no matter what Kyle does in that 10th frame doesn't shut me out. So like to me, Kyle, yeah, he beat me, but I beat myself that game and allowed Kyle to win.
Yeah.
That's where I see how that match went, and a lot of people don't see that.
There's a mental game to him too, because you missed that spare, so he's breathing a little easier going into frame 3. You missed that spare.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the tension's a little higher. So who knows what happens? 3, 4, 5.
Oh, 100%. And not to go through into details, but weren't you also going through some personal stuff at that time too on your personal life that it kind of just would weigh on you a little bit, if I remember right? No,
that was the
playoffs.
That was the playoffs. So,
I didn't remember. If
I mean, I was still going through some shit at that time because, who my ex is now, her mom was not doing well. So I was bowling for that reason. But I mean, nonetheless, once you step on those lanes, you still push the bullshit behind you and focus on what you have to do for a job.
Oh yeah, especially once, like you said, once you do it for a living, you don't have a choice. It's either you put that shit behind you or you're gonna go home with no money. So it is what it is.
That's what I always say that to everyone who always talks about that match is, oh, Kyle had so much room and he shot 279, but no one really goes back to say, hey, you missed a single pin and gave him that opportunity. And those guys, you just, he's been on TV a lot more than I have. And he will capitalize on those things. But I will say if I did beat him, I was winning that tournament. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's.
No, I don't disagree.
No, I was going to say, because I did the commentary on that, and there was a lot of, there was some people, it's like, oh, he missed that single pin, he's getting nervous, and I'm like, he's going to throw the next 5 or 6.
Nah.
He's not nervous. It's just sometimes you miss stuff for, maybe there was a reason, maybe there's not. Sometimes
I just sucked at spares that week.
sometimes you just throw a bad shot at the wrong time, and I'm like, it's not nerves. It's not,
he was locked in all week.
It's not any of that. He's going to make Kyle work for this. And so, it just.
I was hoping and praying. I was like, all right, Kyle Tripp is throwing this piece of shit 78, right? Like, I'm like, he's going to flat 10 somewhere. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
The one time that ball was good.
Like,
but no, absolutely. I said this. I said the exact same thing. I'm like, if Zach gets out of that match, he wins that tournament easily.
Yeah, and
I agree.
and that's okay. But obviously, I'm a big guy of putting energy into the universe. So obviously the universe, there was a reason for why that happened. And I think it allowed me to grow that entire, the rest of that tour season, to have the season that I had, to build the confidence to, be confident in everything that I do, whether it's strike shot or spare shot, and has made me the bowler I am today. So I think, yeah, I had a good season last year, but
Yeah.
this season, you might see my name at Player of the Year.
So that actually is what I was going to parlay my next question into, unless somebody has another question here real quick.
No.
Nope,
Anthony?
no questions.
You've been
Well,
kinda
I
sitting there a
was
little
just
bit.
going to say that
So-
he was talking about the Reno to Detroit thing. We drive to
Yeah.
nationals every single year. Reno's like a 21 hour drive from Topeka. Allen Park, Michigan is another 12 hours past us.
Oh, so it's more than a day. So it's
Yeah.
impossible.
So it's a freaking
Stupid.
I mean, if you drive straight through, and if you're booking it, it's 30 hours from
with
Reno.
a 3-hour time change.
Yeah, and that's really the thing there is if we're going to Reno, we drop a couple time zones and we gain some hours. You're losing 3 hours, and it's a 30-hour drive, unless you're driving like 90.
Exactly. So like, if it does happen, you wouldn't be able to make your 8 a.m. squad.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be able to make practice session. Wouldn't be able to make your 8 a.m. squad. Nor would you want to bowl after driving 30-something hours.
Well, and again, it's not like it's a regular tournament that you're showing up to. It's like, okay, I'll just skip this one, Delaware, and then you have the U.S. Open, and then you go to the World Series of Bowling, and then it's the Masters. So it's not exactly like, okay, I'll just skip this tournament.
Exactly.
You can't skip that stuff.
So so it's a big conflict with travel this year, and it just never gets any easier for the guys that drive, and I bet you more than 75% of the guys drive.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's expensive to fly, especially with inflation and everything else. It's stupid. But no, what I was going to ask is when you said if it all goes right and Player of the Year or whatever, the fact that you put yourself in that situation and you know that you could win that tournament if you got through that match, it should just build confidence for one. Like, obviously you're going to build off that, right? So obviously in 2025 you want to win every time you step onto the lanes every week. What are your goals in 2025? Is it, what have you set for yourself?
So like last year I never really set goals because I went through that company change. So I didn't really know what to expect with the bowling balls. I had no clue. So I kind of just went in with a clear head. This brand gave me an opportunity, and we're just kind of quickly learn what these bowling balls do. And I mean, they did some good things. Now that I have a really good understanding of, all of the bowling balls now that they bring out, which ones are good, which ones can parlay off of each other. My goals are very high. I want to not just get my first win. I want to win a major. I want to win more than once. Like I'm not lying when I say you're gonna see my name at Player of the Year. Like I don't care about these guys anymore. Like I'm past that point now where, you get nervous around them. You look to your right, you look to your left, and you see these guys. Like I'm past that, and it's taken me a long time to get there, but we are there now. And yeah, they saw a little bit of me last year. They're gonna hate me this year.
And look, if you look at your socials, you're putting the work in. Plain and simple. I mean, you're just you're everywhere. You're everywhere. You're bowling every day or most days. Those are the guys who win, right? I mean, you could take all the variables out of play. You could switch companies again and put this amount of work in and still have a chance. So you're just eliminating variables. So as somebody who follows you on socials, I could appreciate the grind. So I'm going to root for you. If I had no idea who you were as a person, I'm watching you grind. So I'm like, you know what? If that guy's going to put in the work, I'm going to root for that guy. So I'm hoping everybody else is
Nah,
thinking the same thing.
dude, I appreciate that, brother. That means a lot. That means a lot.
And you're putting up big numbers, dude. Big numbers.
And you skipped the hockey game to hang out with us. So
Heck yeah, I did. Heck yeah, I did.
And thanks for at least helping me out to get me a top 10 in Tulsa for scratch team too.
Oh, we stayed in the top 10, brothers? Nice.
We got 8. We got 8.
Nice. Well, I look forward.
I bowled okay, but
I look forward to that 1099.
Yeah, I know, right? Unfortunately, I may make enough where I've got a 1099.
Yeah, we got Paul Burnett in here wanting to hear "Oh Canada."
Yeah, that's not happening.
Tobias is in here from a Drew Pro Shop.
If you don't sing it in French, I'm going to be pissed.
So that's the thing. We had to learn how to sing "Oh Canada" in French too.
I have no doubt.
I can't say that I know it all in French anymore. I do know some parts, but we ain't.
Actually, you sang it to me in French
That's
one
Francois.
time.
He's got the French on lockdown.
Yeah, Mitch knows a lot of French too because of his last name.
His name is Francois. Okay.
Yeah.
We got Francois and we got Zach.
I see Ashley's mad. She's paying a subscription to my Facebook. Yeah. Ashley, you're helping me be better to provide you with this good content. So,
yeah.
Boom, confetti.
Just saying, without your support, I don't get to make the content and provide you guys with very good information.
So another cool thing that Zach does, I don't know for a lot of us or a lot of people that are watching now or come back and watch this, is Zach's made a really good or really big presence in Kansas City, Gladstone.
Coaching stuff, yeah.
And he spends a lot of time coaching. He's got it great where he signs it. You sign up online and everything. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Zach, and how that's helped people be successful?
Yeah. So I last year after the end of tour, I went back home just because I didn't know how things were going to unfold in Kansas City anymore. Went through a lot of shit. So me and my mom were just sitting at the table, and I was like, what the heck am I going to do? Like, I got nothing in the summer besides, some tournaments. And she's like, well, how bad does Kansas City need, private lessons? And I was like, I don't know. So I threw up that post that one day, just sitting at the table, and holy shit, did it take off.
Waiting list pretty quick, if I remember right.
I remember when you posted
what'd you say, Anthony?
Yeah.
It was a waiting list pretty quick, if I remember right, or you were filling in your roster day one, man. Or quick. It was super quick.
Yeah, it was kind of unbelievable and overwhelming. So I immediately started creating spreadsheets and then calling the bowling center, creating time slots. Like, when can I get lessons in, when are open lanes available? When do they not conflict with league? So at first I didn't really have a website. So it was all just messaging everyone back and forth, talking to the bowling center. And it was getting a little sloppy because I did not know how to do anything at this point. So one of the lessons, he was one of the first, he's like, yeah, I helped create websites. So he helped me get a website going, and we were able to create online reservations that way. And then it sent a confirmation to their email and then to my email. So I knew when to be there, and then you just paid at the bowling center. And so it happened so fast, and I didn't know what to think. I didn't know if I was going to be a good coach, what people wanted, the direction they wanted in lessons. But it turned out to be a very humbling experience, and it taught me a lot too as a person. So I do plan to really eventually plant my roots in Kansas City for kind of like a Coach Baker thing eventually. That's what, to me, that's kind of my long-term goal right now in bowling, is to kind of be like him, create a facility for the people in Kansas City.
I mean, my feelings won't be hurt if you decide to just, move and stay in Kansas City permanently. I mean, not move, but
my girlfriend, Brooklyn, and I, we've been talking about, getting a house. Where we're going to live, I'm not entirely sure because she's still finishing school, but
Is she a senior?
Yeah, she's graduating in April, and then she's already started her master's throughout her schooling. She's so smart, it's unbelievable. Like,
because she's at WSU,
she's a
right?
bowler herself. But I mean, it would definitely be cool if we lived in Kansas City. So if she's listening, that's a subtle dig at maybe Kansas City.
Maybe.
Let's make that happen. And if it doesn't, I will screen grab this and send it to you so you can send it to her. But yeah, we definitely want you in Kansas City. We love having you around. You know, I love you, brother. So once again, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you guys
hanging out with us. So
Luke, you got anything with these last 15 minutes? If not, we can talk sports or two.
Yeah, we might have to. I know we talked bowling for long enough, so we might have to talk some. There was. Let me see. I think I put this in the. Oh man, I might have to add this from my.
I do think I'm going to sign up for Team USA trials next year and bring 2 hustles.
This.
There's an inside joke on this.
I don't like talking shit on people, but I don't understand how, like, if people go to the Olympics for their country, everybody just automatically assumes that, okay, they have put decades or at least years and years of super dedicated work in, they're talented, they whatever else, but it comes to bowling for your country, and then all of a sudden it's like, I averaged 200 one year, and so I'm going to go bowl and think that I can actually compete. It's like, I don't want to talk, because if somebody shows up, then it's like, okay, I mean, even if you don't have a chance, you showed up, you put your money where your mouth is, whatever else. But some people, it's kind of like, man,
Would you say the same thing if this was breakdancing?
I mean, if it's a dude,
oh my god,
jeez.
you want me to do the thing?
Oh my god! But it's one of those.
There it
things.
is. Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
Look like a damn
I
dinosaur.
don't understand where you think that you can just like average 200 for a year and then show up to your country's national team trials and be like,
what if you don't even average
amped
200
to go
for
or
a year?
something? Man.
I won't call the
What
guy
are the
out, but
requisitions for trying out for Team USA? Is there any
I think you just got to sign up for the tournament, man. Like I don't even know.
you sign up for the tournament, spend the money. There's no requisition.
I mean,
you sign up.
It's like
they'll
bowling the
take your money. How
Masters or
about
something. Like you can, if you get your name in there before they run out of spots, you're bowling the Masters, and it's like a bucket list thing or something.
And I think the Team USA trials to bowl it, I think it's like $1,500 or something stupid like that. It's expensive.
Really?
I don't know the numbers. It's more than 500. I can tell you that right now. You got to remember they bowl 5 days, 6 games a day, 5 days.
$350 to bowl, and it's only Canadian,
it's
which is like maybe $250 American. At this
I'm going to learn how to sing "Oh Canada" real quick.
Yeah.
I was saying, wait a minute here.
Sure.
French.
French, English,
I'm
Spanish,
trying to
you name it.
Too many things at the same time. But. No, I saw this. I saw this online here, so I'm going to put this up on the screen.
Oh, daddy, here we go.
This is what
All
somebody thinks is going to happen in the NFL playoffs.
I know a certain someone would be pissed if the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. Trevor's dad is an absolute Josh Allen hater, and he hates the Buffalo Bills. And he tells us that Trevor and I told him that Josh Allen will get a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, like from 1 to 5 right now. He'll get a Super Bowl. And he's like, you guys are smoking left-handed cigarettes. It's not going to happen. I would give my left nut for
5
him to
straight
win a
division
Super Bowl
titles.
this year. And that, come on now. I
He's
mean, this is the worst team he's had, too.
He's good.
Like,
man. He's really
think
good.
about it.
And now he's got Haley Steinfeld.
He's going to catch an L this week, unfortunately. He's going to, yeah, I know, right?
I mean, it's no.
He's going to catch an L this week, though. It's unfortunate.
He could be like a player like, I'm going to use baseball, for example. He's one of the best players to ever play in the NFL. Like Josh Allen's amazing. He's kind of like Mike Trout. He's such a good player, but he's never gonna get. He's so like I wouldn't say loyal. I wouldn't say like that's kind of a bad thing, but like I don't think Mike Trout's ever gonna win a World Series, and he's been one of the best players for the last decade.
Yep.
Well, the problem is Josh Allen makes the playoffs.
No,
Mike
I
Trout
get
doesn't.
that, but like, how does a guy like that? It's almost like Alex Ovechkin in hockey. Like he finally got his Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But like, it's
honestly, the year that
taking
Trout, I
so
thought he
long.
would have got it. The year that I thought Trout would have got it was actually the year that they got knocked out by the Royals. And I want to say that was 14. It was the 14 year where they took the Angels out in the first round of the playoffs. That Angels team was freaking good. I thought they were
Josh Allen
losing.
could be the Mike Trout of baseball. Just he might never win.
I could see that.
Dan
I hope he
Marino,
gets the
right?
Super Bowl this year. Actually, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no. The Buffalo Bills are going to catch an L this week on Sunday at 3:00. Noon. But that's okay. He'll have to wait on the Super Bowl until next year. Move on to the next one because those mighty Denver Broncos are going to go into Buffalo. They're going to whoop that ass.
Oh, no.
And we're gonna move
I
on.
can't wait to see the I hate football post.
It's coming.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to give the Bills a little tougher. There's a lot of Bills fans that are like, "Oh yeah, I'm not worried about this week at all. It's it's whatever." It's like I think they're going to get a little bit tougher game there. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol, so he is still not a thing to play against Green Bay this week.
I think he's going to be okay.
Well,
though.
he
I
might
really
be okay, but we might end up with a Tua situation where it's like, I mean, technically he can play the game, but is he okay?
That's a fact. That's a fact. And yes, I'm probably gonna hate football this week. But yes,
I'm gonna, as a Packers fan, this probably stings more than most statements, but it's gonna be really tough to beat Dan Campbell and the Lions.
Oh yeah,
you're damn right. It is
the coaching, just everything they've got going on, and as you get deeper into this, get closer to the Super Bowl, and you get to kind of pull out the back 3 or 4 pages of your playbook, it's going to be tough. And I hate the fact that I'm even saying that. But damn, the Lions are going to be tough.
Dude, they get down and dirty. They're not afraid of anything right now.
Mm-mm.
You're realistic though. It's kind of like how I am. Are we going to go into Buffalo next week and get our ass kicked? Yeah, we're going to get our ass kicked. But you're realistic. And that's all.
Remember
that matters.
Tebow
You know
time?
what I mean?
Dude, sometimes it just takes a little bit of momentum, man. And
I went streaking after that game, by the way.
I'm not shocked.
That's
that one, Demaryius Thomas across the middle of the field. Yeah. The worst quarterback in NFL history gets a playoff win.
No, I'm thinking. I think in the NFC, I think that's just what's going to happen. The Lions, they're just the best team, and so just sorry to everybody. I think there's a few different things that could happen on the AFC side of things, but
I think Baltimore is going to get hot. I think Baltimore is the team you got to look out for.
I think the Chiefs, if their offense ain't clicking, they better hope their defense is doing something again. Because the Chiefs' offense have been shit this year.
You're right. They put up 0 points
Doesn't
yesterday.
matter. I'm just saying the Chiefs are not a 15-1 team. They should be 10-5 at best.
Yeah, that
they should have lost to the damn Broncos.
Well, and
like
that's-
4 weeks ago,
the Raiders
field
just
goal.
do typical Raider things and just don't know how to hunt football.
Yeah. No, I mean, for the Chiefs, the golden horseshoe is so far up their ass that one end is sticking out of their mouth. I mean, but I've been a Chiefs fan for like 25 years, and so people you don't even remember, like Todd Haley as a coach, Romeo Crennel, Elvis Gerbach, Matt
can't throw it
Castle.
and catch it too, baby.
Like
Elvis Gerbach with the most famous quarterback change in one of the NFL's history is when Rich Gannon wins like 19 games in a row, and then they sit him to play Elvis Gerbach in the divisional round.
So the Chiefs for a million years have either had the team that scored 40 points a game and the other team scored 50, or we were scoring 0 and the other team was scoring 20 something. Like it was just, we've just been on the wrong side of things all the time. Andy Reid's a great coach. Mahomes is a good football player. There's some of the stuff that you just can't put down. This year, they played kind of like last year. It's just they didn't get penalized for the shitty play this year like they did last year. I think they're still going to be tough.
Yeah.
I could easily see Buffalo or Baltimore beating them, but Buffalo, Baltimore kind of have to go through each other, so it's not the toughest teams for KC, I think, are on the other side of the bracket.
Other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to see one of them, whereas like the Lions, I don't really care how good anybody else in the NFC plays. It's just the Lions. I mean,
Honestly, I think the NFC on that side of the football, on that side of the NFC is going to be tough. That's going to be some damn good
they
football
got
games.
some like LA Vikings is going to be a good game.
Yeah. Washington and
Tampa Bay is going to be a
Washington
good
and
game.
Bucks. That's going to be a damn good football game. I really
Sorry.
do.
Yeah.
Sorry to the Packers. We're kind of glossing over those.
Hey.
The Eagles are going to win. If Jalen Hurts plays, the Eagles are just going to win.
Well, my only kicker, that's a big deal. It's Jalen Hurts plays. My only kicker with the Packers, they've been kind of limping at home here.
He
So
snuck in.
it's
Really, it's 2010, right? That's really the last time I could be like, or 2011. 2011. It was like, hey, the Packers are going to win this thing, and they didn't. I think when we're talking about NFC, AFC, the Eagles are typically, or the Ravens are the team I'm not worried about. But this year, I mean, at some point in time, he's got to play well postseason, right? He's having the year of all years, right? Mr. MVP. If he clicks, he's got Henry. There's things that can work in their favor. The Bills are probably the team I'm least worried about, even though they look as good as they do. But normally it'd be the Ravens, right?
what's crazy though. This is like I said, this is the worst team that Josh Allen's has had.
He doesn't have a whole lot of offensive weapons, and their defense is terrible. They're gonna need Josh Allen to carry them. Basically,
Well, it sounds like the Broncos need to get after him, and let's just
that's the thing. The
send him home.
Broncos are going to be tough for him. Then they're going to have the Ravens are going to be tough for him because the Steelers. I don't know what kind of magic Russell Wilson pulled out for however long to get into the playoffs. It's not going to happen. The Ravens are going to win that game. I don't know what's going to happen in the Buffalo game. I'm assuming Buffalo's going to win,
Steelers are
but
done.
I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. And then the Chiefs have they've had the defense all year, but the offense has been terrible. But they have Hopkins, they got Hollywood Brown back, they've got Pacheco, Kelsey's still in there. So now they have all their offensive weapons back. And if Mahomes stops overthrowing everybody by 10 or 15 yards, and they actually get down to okay, it's playoffs time. We actually have to care about these games now.
The guy we're not talking about, and the only team we really haven't talked about, is that CJ Stroud fella.
Houston's
I'm just saying, there's something special about him.
I like CJ Stroud, but there is. I'm not on Houston. Last year,
I'm not talking about going not past the Chiefs.
Yeah, but
certainly past those Thunderbolts.
That game is a coin flip for me. I could see it going either way.
I can too.
I think it's going to be a damn good football game. Let's be honest with each other here. That Chargers Texans game is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a few. I think that if that Green Bay Philly game is going to be good. The matchups this week are really good. I'm excited to see it. Broncos will probably get blown out, so it is what it is. We snuck in, but
Zach's team, Tampa, could be filthy. They would have to pull off some voodoo Chiefs cheating magic to get past the Lions, but I could see them playing.
I could
see them in the NFC Championship game. Let me put it that way.
You just never know what Baker you're gonna get.
Hey, we got.
I texted my dude yesterday. And I was like, "Let's go." I love Baker Mayfield, and I was like,
I think if we can exploit our run game a little bit better against Washington to start, then it'll settle Baker down a little bit, and then I think we'll be in business. But when they start slow, man, Baker gets a little shaky, kind of like Winston, where you just he can throw 5 touchdowns, but he might throw 5 interceptions too. So
But he's one of those. He's just gonna go for it all every time, and that's the
Yeah,
one
I
thing I,
get
like
it.
about Baker.
But I mean, you can't throw 5 interceptions. Like
I'm a Brett Favre fan, man.
Give
Think
feed-
about I used to be a Brett
That's
Favre
true.
fan. Let me tell you.
Zach, on your side of things, feed Bucky Irvin the football. Feed Bucky
Dude,
Irvin
he's
the
our
football.
future, man. Holy cow. Holy
Hey, real
cow.
quick, we've got 4 different teams in the playoffs right now. Do we make a friendly wager here? Hey, I've been saying it's the first time us 4 have been on here. We've got 4 teams. We're kind of finishing on football. What are we thinking?
The Denver
Well,
Broncos lose. I got $5 on that. I don't care. No, are we wagering like the Super Bowl winner?
Maybe.
No,
Sure.
or whatever one of our team goes
Whatever
the
team
farthest.
goes the furthest, or I
Furthest.
mean, if we're all going
I'm
to Tulsa
screwed.
next year, I know that October's a few months away here, but
We've got a bowl in that team's jersey.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
I like that
Hey,
one a
our
lot.
buddy here, Zach's got a new apparel
I-
company coming out. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah, we can make it happen.
I like
we
that. Actually, because if we're
I
all
do
in
too,
Tulsa,
actually, yeah.
then we've got to get a team jersey.
okay.
That's a bet. Bet made. Bet good.
Yeah.
Bet made. It's on.
I like that.
Okay.
Done. It means I'm bowling in somebody's jersey. You guys might as well tell me right now what it is, because it's happening.
Well, this one's tricky too, because I mean it's tricky. It just is.
Yeah.
So our team that finished
Yeah,
highest.
yeah. Whichever team gets the furthest,
Yep.
we see. But
Okay, so that means the 3 of us have to. The 1 out of the 3 have to wear, or the 3
that
out of the
means
1 have to
Joel's
wear it?
team's got to start paying the refs more. I mean, because we already got that shit on lockdown.
Oh,
So
Hey, get effed, please.
yep. We can make it happen. We can work out the details later, but
yeah,
Yeah, we got
We
the
can do
deets. Zach's sick.
yeah.
Let's
That's
get
what
off
I'm gonna
here.
say. It's
I'm
need
gonna
to
go.
get a
I'm gonna go
snack on-
swig. I'm gonna go swig some NyQuil.
Zach's got important stuff to do tomorrow. We're snowed in, so
Don't let the
I
Tylenol
didn't have to
PM
work
win.
today. I don't have to work tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
just
gotta
a
go
typical Tuesday in Canada again.
I finally got a job. Finally got a state job that nice and cushy. So
There you go.
I've got to go into the damn office. Raylan's schools are
Make-
closed, but you know.
bowling
We still
ball
gotta go to
videos
freaking
tomorrow.
I'm facilities, so if the building's open, it's always open. We'll be
Boom.
there.
I'm under facilities, so
Yeah,
yeah, I get it.
So
Hey, Zach, good luck to you, buddy. I'm rooting for you 100% of the way, buddy.
yeah, we're
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
yep.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
I
Yeah,
second
we're
and
all
third
on.
that.
No matter what NFL team we've got, we're all on Team Zach Wilkins for PBA stuff, Team Canada, whatever else, unless we're bowling against him in the same tournament, which doesn't really matter if we're.
I will say this as we sign off, except for Luke, because your team doesn't play this week. I hope everybody's teams lose.
All right.
So.
I'm gonna go take some
You guys
NyQuil
suck.
now on that note.
Yeah. All right.
Love you guys, all
yeah.
of you. I appreciate
And
you
when the
guys.
weather works out, we're gonna get Anthony up here for a show, and I've got plenty of beer frame stuff to pull back in and show off for
Hell
that
yeah.
dude. So
Boy, that was a different fella back then.
You were still a little too sexy for me.
All right.
All right, guys.
Much love,
Yeah.
guys.